Do you want to attract more amazing guests to your live show or your podcast? If so, you're in the right place. Today we're talking about creating your podcast or live show guest pitch template. When you're able to attract great guests to your show, you're able to leverage their audience as well as provide incredible value to your pre-existing audience. But you have to pick the right guests. In order to do that, I highly recommend creating a pitch that you're going to share with all of the different guests that you're going to invite to your show. In some ways, this frames their experience. It helps them understand your audience and so much more. So in today's video, we're going to talk about how to get started with your podcast or live show pitch. We'll talk about the most important parts of any guest pitch for your podcast or your live show. And of course, we'll talk about how to over-deliver on the entire experience. So for this and more, I'll see you after the intro. The first place you need to start, regardless of who the guest is that you're inviting onto your show, is that you have to start with authentic connection. So whether you're talking to someone who you're really great friends with, or you're talking to someone who's in your dream 100, someone you aspire to have on your show, the top celebrity, for example, or biggest expert in your industry, regardless of where your guests are on their journey in their businesses, we have to start with connecting to them one-on-one as people and providers of solutions. Don't rely on transactions alone. I used to do that. It doesn't work. There are great places online to find experts and people interested in being on your show. People who want to share their message. Maybe they're launching a program soon, or they just wrote a book, or they have an incredible life story that they want to share with the world. There are great places online, tons of Facebook groups, and separate yourself from the pack by having true connection with the people you're interested in bringing on your show. Say you want to bring on a big name, someone who you don't have a few degrees of separation from, someone who's a little bit bigger than what you can just reach out and ask to be on your show. So how do you get that done? You have to grab their attention. That's what you have to do. So when you focus on creating an interview pitch template, that guest now understands a bit more about your audience. They understand who your audience is, what kind of struggles they're struggling with, and how they, as an expert, can best solve or create solutions for that audience. Question of the day: who would be your dream interview on your show, your podcast, or your live show? Let me know down in the comments. Now, I've already talked about how important it is to help frame the experience for your audience. So say you have people, we always talk about weight loss coaches as an example here. So let's just roll with it. So you have a community of people who are interested in weight loss, and say, let's go really niche down and say that it's women who are looking at using weightlifting as a way of managing their weight and increasing their energy. So we have a really clear understanding of who our people are. And let's niche down even further. Let's say that our community also deals with chronic pain. And so now we have a language, a common shared language and identity between our community. Now that's pretty specific. So in order to get the most out of every guest that we have, we want to explain, we want to draw that picture, we want to paint that picture for our potential guest so they can understand who they're talking to. It's like if you go to a party, you're going to walk into the room and you're going to read the room. You're going to listen to the people that you're talking to get an understanding of what kind of way do you need to show up to best get the most out of that experience. Same thing happens when people are interviewing. So if you want your guests to be able to provide the most amount of value, you have to give them the most amount of information so that they know what direction to solve, what direction to go in with their content. So going back to our weight loss example, so if you bring on a guest whose main area of focus is, let's say, powerlifting, a very specific technique involved in the weightlifting part of what our community is interested in. And that person is just talking about Olympic achievement, and they're not touching on anything else that's of interest to your community, that's not going to be nearly as interesting or impactful of an interview as if you were to have framed that experience differently, framed that interview differently, so that your guest now is starting to understand who your community is, and maybe that interview goes in a completely different direction. Maybe that expert now is talking about their personal struggle through chronic pain, and that now inspires a completely different direction for that interview to go. Much more impactful, much more tied to your niche down audience. If you present a pitch template to a potential guest on your show that clearly outlines who your audience is, what are they struggling with, and how specifically that guest can help and serve your audience, you're going to see a huge increase in the number of high quality guests who are interested in coming onto your show. Yes, I am saying create customized pitch templates for each and every one of your guests. That personalized attention shows not only your guests, but also your audience that you are focused on creating connection. You're not just creating content for the sake of content. We hate content for the sake of content. We put a ton of effort and energy into each and every one of the pieces of content we put out here because they are designed to serve you, the small business owner who wants to increase your brand visibility online. So why not, if that sounds like you, hit the subscribe button and join us here on the Visibility Hackers channel. We would love to have you along for the ride. Now, you want to blow the minds of your potential guests? Easy, super easy. One little section you need to add to your guest pitch template is suggested keywords and topics. You want to think about doing as much of the work as possible for this guest. You want to be able to do as much of that as possible because you know your audience best. You know your business best. You know your analytics. You know your data way more than your guest does of your business. They're busy with their own business, their own movement of people. So you better serve up that information. So look at your SEO structure. Look at what your SEO plan is. Figure out what keywords you're intending to target with that interview. You're not expecting your guests to do your SEO work for you. You should be doing it yourself, and you can serve that up in your pitch template as a way of establishing authority to show your guest that you know what you're talking about. If you're willing to put in the work to come up with your keywords, to come up with your topics, then that means that you're more invested in your business than someone who is simply interested in piggybacking off of the authority and the impact of their guests. Don't be like that, because I know you're better than that. And if you are interested in joining a community of incredible entrepreneurs who are all inspired to blow up their brand's visibility, but to also change the lives of those who are involved in their movements and their businesses, well, if that sounds like you, then I personally invite you to come join us over in our Visibility Hackers Facebook group. That's where we go hang out. We have content on a regular basis. We are there to have conversations and to inspire and enlighten and to connect with each other. We have live shows on multiple days of the week, and it's just honestly a fantastic space to hang out and to get the encouragement you need. Maybe if you're not feeling like you have it in you to create today, or if you're looking for new strategies to really propel you forward, we've got you. We've got experts in the community to help you out along the way as well, and it's absolutely free. So come on over. You can find us over at visibilityhacking.com. Click the link at the top of the page that says Become a Visibility Hacker. You can join us over there. We'd love to see you along. And until I see you again, my friends, remember, I love you. Be excellent to each other and just go live, because your people are out there and they are waiting for you.